The mud of the trenches was thick and clinging, a relentless reminder of the filth we lived in. The smell of death and decay was our constant companion. I was Private Thomas Caldwell, and I thought I had seen the worst the Great War had to offer. But then the tripods came. We were dug in along the Western Front, a line of steel and flesh that stretched across Europe. The Germans were just across no man's land, their machine guns ready to cut us down the moment we poked our heads out. We were told we were here to fight for our country, to push back the enemy and bring an end to the war. But they lied to us. They said we would go to war and fight the enemy. Now we fight with the enemy to save humanity from those things. The first tripod appeared at dusk, its silhouette stark against the blood-red sky. It was an ungodly creation, towering and metallic, walking on three spindly legs that seemed too thin to support its massive body. It moved with an unnatural grace, silent and deadly. As it came closer, we saw its true horror. The tripods didn't just kill, they harvested. A beam of intense heat shot from its underbelly, sweeping across the ground. Where it touched, men screamed and fell, their bodies reduced to ash in seconds. Those caught in its path were vaporized, their screams cut short as they were turned to dust. The air was filled with the smell of burning flesh. Our bullets were useless. They pinged off the tripod's hull like raindrops on a tin roof. The artillery shells, our last hope, exploded harmlessly against its shield. It was unstoppable. As it advanced, the heat beam cut through our ranks, leaving nothing but charred remains. The ground beneath us turned to molten slag where the beam touched. Those who tried to run were caught in the tripod's grasping metal tentacles, lifted high into the air and crushed with terrifying ease. The screams of my comrades filled the night, a cacophony of despair and agony. In the chaos, a German soldier stumbled into our trench, his face a mask of terror. At first, I raised my rifle, ready to shoot him down, but then I saw the same fear in his eyes that I felt. The enemy was no longer the Germans, it was the tripods. Kapitulieren, he shouted, hands raised. Zusammenarbeiten. He's right, I said, lowering my rifle. We have to work together. It's the only way. Reluctantly, we formed an uneasy alliance with the Germans. Side by side, we fought against the Iron Giants. We pooled our resources, setting traps with whatever explosives we could scrounge. It was a desperate plan, but it was all we had. One night, we lured a tripod into a minefield we had hastily constructed. As it stepped into the trap, we detonated the mines. The explosion was deafening, and for a moment, hope surged through us. The tripod staggered, its leg blown apart, but it didn't fall. Instead, it let out a metallic shriek, a sound that chilled us to the bone and fired its heat beam in a wild arc, incinerating friend and foe alike. We retreated, leaving behind a battlefield strewn with the burned and mangled bodies of our comrades. The tripods were relentless, their attack unceasing. Day and night, they hunted us, their heat beams scouring the earth clean of life. In the end, there were only a handful of us left, British and German soldiers huddled together in a makeshift bunker. The constant roar of the tripods filled our ears, a reminder that there was no escape. They lied to us, I whispered, my voice barely audible over the din. They said we would go to war and fight the enemy. Now we fight with the enemy to save humanity from those things. A German soldier, his face streaked with soot and blood, nodded grimly. We are kämpfen zusammen, he said, together. Outside, the tripods continued their march, their heat beams cutting through the night. We had fought bravely, but the end seemed inevitable. As I looked around at the faces of my fellow soldiers, I saw not enemies, but brothers in arms, united by a common cause. In that moment, I knew that our fight, though desperate, was not in vain. We were humanity's last stand against the darkness, and we would fight until the end.